All right, what's up, everybody? I've got some great news to share with you. I just passed the $100,000 FTMO challenge this past Friday. This is actually the second time I've passed the $100,000 challenge, and I also passed another $50,000 challenge last year. That makes this the third time I've passed the challenge. I'm becoming kind of an expert at this by now. As I've said many times before, the challenge itself is really not that difficult. As long as you're an experienced trader who understands how the market works, it's very easy to get the challenge done in a couple of days, well below the minimum of 10 trading days, especially if you get really good market conditions during your challenge. If the dollar index is making big moves, you will have a much easier time with reaching the target profit, and that happened to be the case for pretty much all of last week when I did the challenge. All that being said, the challenge does require that you take on much more risk than you ever really should. Getting to 100% of your account in just 20 days, it takes a really high risk strategy no matter which strategy you decide to go with. I personally am a scalper. I tend to go for either 1.25 reward or 2 reward on almost all of my trades. There are some situations where I'll go for 3 or 4 reward, like if I get a really tight entry, and there are some times where I'll trail a trade if I see a really good setup for it. But you don't have to scalp in order to pass the challenge. You can go for bigger moves, which a lot of other traders do. That's just the way that I trade, and it works really well for me. So getting into the strategy, let's first just lay out there what you need to actually do here. So the $100,000 FTMO account is really a leveraged $10,000 account. This is due to the fact that their rules limit you only being able to lose $10,000 total. So you have to base your risk percent level off of this number. They call it 100,000 because the account is leveraged at 100,000. So you can take more trades and risk more than you actually could on a regular $10,000 account. But the recommended amount you would be risking per trade is $100, which is 1% of 10,000. So if you went that route and you went for 2 reward per trade, you would need 50 winning trades in a row without any losses to get to the profit target. Now this is doable, but this would take way too long, and I doubt anyone is going to have a 100% win rate all the way through 50 trades. So you'll need to raise your risk. If you brought it up to 2% per trade, you would need 25 wins. That's already much better there. Raise it up to 3%, you would need a little over 16 winning trades. Raise it up to 4%, now we're looking at just 12.5 trades to reach the goal. You can probably see where we're going with this. You can use whatever amount of risk you feel comfortable with. Although for the challenge or for anything else in the finance world, I don't recommend you ever go over 10% risk. Ever, never, ever. When I was starting out as a forex trader, I blew more than one account, unfortunately, and it was due to me risking more than 10% on my trades, and this hasn't happened since, by the way. Let's see. So I personally used 8% risk on my trades for the challenge. I have what I call a recovery system that I came up with that can make using higher risk much safer. Basically, you risk 8% on a trade. Let's say you lose that trade, you would wait for another really good setup and risk 80% of what you initially risk. So in this case, out of 8% or $800, that would be $640. If you go for a 1.25 reward trade with that 640, you gain back the $800 that you lost. This puts you back to zero, and it's as if you never lost anything. So I had around a 74% win rate for the challenge. It's actually gone now just because of these blank trades that I took. I'll talk about that in a minute. So the chances of at least one of these 2 trades going through is very high. Getting to 1.25 reward is usually just a tiny piece of a really good setup. So this system has been working really well for me, and it's a great way to get more profits out of your scalping strategy. Also, even if you do lose both trades, you would be down $14.40 in that case. Just one 2-hour trade with the same 8% that you've been risking is $1,600. So you can very easily make up the loss with just one trade. Using this set of numbers, you would need a maximum of 10 winning trades with no losses. Much better and way faster, although it's a little bit riskier than trying to go with 1 or 2% risk. Another trick you can use is to compound your wins. I used this strategy on the last day of my challenge, and it got me $8,316, as you can see right here. So say the market is moving really well and you end up having a $2,500 profit early on in the session. My daily goal was at 1,000. That would get me to the $10,000 target within the 10-day minimum. So I would be $1,500 over my daily goal at that point. You can use some or all of that extra $1,500 as part of your risk if you see another really good setup. So say you put all of it into a trade and you get 2 reward, you now have an extra $3,000 for that day for a total of $5,500 in profit. You can keep rolling for even more profits, or you could just take the day off at that point since you've already made over 50% of the account in just one day, which is more than good enough. You can also do this using a previous day's income. Just be careful not to eat through all of your winnings. This is definitely an advanced level strategy here. Be sure to only use excess winnings, otherwise you'd be going way over the 10% maximum that I warned you about earlier, and you don't want to do that. So that covers the risk management for the challenge, but what about the trading patterns? Well, I've been trading for a little over 2.5 years now, and in that time span, I've found 8 solid patterns that I trade on a daily basis now. One type of breakout, that's the consolidation breakout. We have 3 types of trend continuations: the retrace trend continuation, the EMA trend continuation, and the consolidation trend continuation. These are actually the best trades to go for. They have not only the highest win rate, but also the highest reward. And you really could just get by from trading these only if you wanted to. And then we have 4 types of reversals: the double top, the head and shoulders, engulfing top, and parabolic top. These are the top versions. There are also 4 inverse bottom versions of the same thing. The most advanced trade type, in my opinion, is the parabolic top. It takes a lot of experience and solid knowledge of the overall market to be able to trade these. But once you understand how they work, they give really fast trades, sometimes even just a couple of seconds, and usually 2 or 3 reward. Most of the trades I took for this challenge were some form of trend continuation. I took a couple parabolics here and there and just a couple of reversals. I took around 67 trades altogether. I hadn't fully decided on which strategy I wanted to go with in the beginning, and I ultimately decided to go for mostly trend continuation scalp moves in the end. And one more thing is FTMO added a 14-day extension to all challenges a couple of days ago. I made an entire video about that, so you can check that out in the top bar. That means you can definitely use around 4% risk to get the challenge done now that you have the extra time added at the end. I would recommend doing that. It's always better to use less risk rather than using more, just to keep yourself from getting too deep into a hole that you can't get out of. Also, remember to be mindful of the max daily loss limits. Remember, this applies to equity on open trades as well. So make sure to not go over $5,000 in losses at any time, or the challenge will end immediately and you'd have to start all over. If you're using less than 10% risk on your trades, this never really should come up at all. And another little trick that I discovered: if you do reach the target profit before the 10-day minimum, what you can do is take a crypto trade. I used Litecoin for my trades. Just take out a micro lot on any cryptocurrency, leave it open for about 10 seconds and then close it, and that counts as a trading day. So this works well since you aren't able to trade the regular forex pairs over the weekends. So yeah, that is the FTMO challenge and how I passed. This video is getting kind of long now, so I'll stop here. But if you guys want to see more in depth about the individual trades that I took and what they look like on the charts, let me know and I'll make a separate video about that. I have just one more day now until my 10-day minimum is hit. So I'll then be working on the much easier verification stage. That part is just a $5,000 profit target, and you also get 60 calendar days to do it in, which is about 40 trading days. So I think I'll cut my risk down to 4% for the next stage. Even then, I should probably still get it done within the 10-day minimum. And then after that, I'll be trading with my live funded account, and I'll also get my entrance fee back, which is pretty cool too. So I'll keep you posted on the results, and I'll let you know how things are going. If you liked the video, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more info about forex trading and also other investment opportunities that I come across. I'm making some major changes to the course, the Profitable Forex Trading course, over at www.ccxcollective.com. I'm going to put up a waiting list for it until I have it finished. When I originally made the course, I made it a while ago. So, I've learned so much and modified so much in my trading that I just decided to completely redo the whole thing. So go ahead and check that out. Make sure to always trade responsibly, and I'll see you guys later.